Hey everybody, this is Kevin Spann, the insurance guru, coming to you with something interesting today. I want to talk about why is insurance important? Why do I need insurance? Why do I have to pay so much money for insurance? So let's talk about it. Why is insurance important? Insurance is important because it helps you to protect what you currently have, and it also helps you to prepare for the future. What do I mean it helps you to protect what you have? I come from a place where everybody works very hard for everything they get. They work hard to get their first car. They work hard to get their first apartment. They work really hard to buy their first house, so on and so forth. Where I'm from, there are very few trust fund babies. What do I mean by that? No one was given anything. No one was given a car. No one was given an apartment. No one was given $20,000 toward their first house. So, that being said, because you worked for it, very few people in middle income America have the ability to go out and buy a $40,000 car, not have it insured. God forbid if that car is in an accident, they have another $40,000 where they can replace that car. So why is insurance important? Insurance is important to protect what you have. Let's again start with car insurance. Car insurance is important because it protects your car, whatever you paid for it, whether it's a used car or a new car. If you do not have a trust fund or an emergency fund where, God forbid, if something happens to that car that you can replace it quickly, you need insurance. Also, not only does car insurance protect your car, it also does two or three other things that's very, very important. Number one, it protects the damage that you can do to another car. Now, I'm here in Long Island, New York, and every day I drive through 3 counties to get to Queens, New York, where I work. Along that hour and a half, 34-mile drive, I see multi-car accidents every day. So God forbid if you hit 3 cars on the road, if you're in one of these 2 or 3 car accidents because someone is texting and driving, eating and driving, or I saw someone the other day, they almost veered over into the lane and hit my wife while she was driving. We pulled up next to him in a light. The guy lowered his window and apologized and said, "I'm sorry," while holding a sandwich and a drink. Really? That's what you're doing while you're driving? Anyway, back to why is insurance important. God forbid if you get in that accident and you're the one with the sandwich and the drink and you hit somebody, you do damage to that car, your insurance policy will pay for the damage that you do to someone else's property, whether that's a car or whether these horrible accidents where you see someone driving into a building or a house. Of course, I know you don't plan to do these things, but that's why they're called accidents. They do happen. It doesn't have to be your fault. You don't have to be the one that's texting and driving, but I guarantee you, if you take a drive today, the person in front of you, behind you, on one of the sides of you, they are texting while they're driving. They're liking a picture on Facebook while they're driving, and they're doing everything but paying attention to the road. This is why car insurance is very, very important. So what else does car insurance do? Not only does it pay for the damage that you would do to someone else's property, it also pays, most importantly, it pays for, God forbid, if you were to injure someone or seriously injure someone in a car accident. This happens every day. People are no longer paying attention even if they're walking. I told the other example, you have to look out for other drivers. Today you have to look out for walkers. If someone walks in front of your car while they have their headphones on and they're listening to music or doing whatever they're doing, they're distracted and you hit them, believe it or not, it's your fault and you're liable to pay for any injuries you cause to that person. So your insurance policy has something called limits of liability. I'm here in New York State, and the minimum limits of liability that every insurance policy has to have is what's called $25,000, $50,000, $10,000. Kevin, what do those numbers mean? Let me break it down for you. Let me make it simple. Let me make it plain. That minimum policy will pay $25,000 to any person that you injure in an accident. It will pay $50,000 to everyone that's in the car, and it will pay $10,000 for any property damage that you do to another car or any object that you hit. Kevin, is that enough? Is that a right amount? Should I get cheap insurance and only get the minimum? That's a good question, but that's for another video. Let me talk about why else insurance is important. I've talked a little bit about car insurance. Let's talk a little bit about property insurance. I remember when I got my first apartment many years ago, I didn't have a whole lot of things, but the things that I got, the $200 couch from Sears, a few $100s for a small kitchen set, a little bit more money for my bedroom set. We were newlyweds, we had clothes, we had a new baby, so on and so forth. All those things that we had worked hard to accumulate. God forbid if anyone were to come into my apartment and take those things, or if there were a fire or smoke damage in my building, I needed to make sure those things were properly protected and insured, because I certainly did not have the money to go out and buy those things again. So that's why renter's insurance is important. There are a few other key coverages with renter's insurance that I want to talk to you about, but that's a subject for another video. Let's talk about home insurance. Why is home insurance important? Home insurance, number one, it's mandatory. If you buy a home and you get a loan from a bank, one of the things that you're required to have before they will even set your closing date is a home insurance policy. You want to have a very, very good home insurance policy, because for most people, that's the single largest asset that you're ever going to purchase. Home insurance covers a few things. It covers the structure of your house. If it burns down, it needs to be rebuilt. It covers the personal property inside your house. So I gave you the example of the things I had in my first apartment. Inside your house, how many ever rooms that you have. Over time, you're going to furnish those rooms. It's going to cover things that are personally important to you. Things like your phone, your tablet, your other devices that you use, your television. Most importantly, some people like shoes. Some people collect Jordan. Some people collect pocketbooks. Whatever you have that's your personal property, your home insurance will replace those things. That's why home insurance is important, and it's also mandatory. There's several other key coverages that's involved in home insurance, but that's another subject for another video. This is from me to you, so I just want to give you a broad overview of why insurance is important. Kevin, if I start a business, is insurance important? Absolutely. If you start a business, there's two kinds of insurance that you must have before you make your first payroll. You need to have workers' comp and disability insurance, at least in New York State. God forbid if you start a business and you don't have these two things in place, as soon as you pay your employees for about a month, look for a letter from New York State. They will tax you heavily and penalize you for you not knowing. Kevin, how do I learn about these things? That's a subject for another video from me to you that will be coming soon. Lastly, Kevin, why is life insurance important? Well, of all the things that I've talked about, life insurance is probably the most important thing for you. Why is life insurance the most important? Because you may never be in a car accident, and I hope you're not. You may never experience any kind of disaster in your home or apartment, and I hope that you don't. But life insurance is a coverage that we all need. Unfortunately, it's something that we all are going to experience. More times than not, we lose our friends and our family members suddenly and unexpectedly. So there is no planning and preparing for the loss of a loved one. However, the sooner you get life insurance, it's very important, because that will do a few things for those that you love that no one else is going to do for you. What will it do? First and foremost, it will pay for your final expenses. What are final expenses, Kevin? Final expenses are the cost of your burial. Here in New York, if you want to have a basic funeral service with a modest casket and you want to be buried locally, near where your family and friends can visit you after the fact, it's going to cost you around $10,000. So at a minimum, you need a $10,000 life insurance policy. What else does life insurance do? Life insurance will also pay off your current debt. What kinds of current debt? It can pay off your mortgage. It can pay off a student loan. It can pay off your other loans that you have for other things if you plan properly. Again, the younger you are, the healthier you are, and you buy the life insurance, the better the price. Life insurance is more expensive and sometimes not easily available as you get older and as your health declines. So if you're young and healthy and you think you don't need life insurance, today is actually the best time to get it because your price will never get lower and you'll never be any younger. Last and most important thing that life insurance does is it replaces your income. Unfortunately, I've experienced a lot of loss in my life, family members, friends. You see the best in people oftentimes after the loss of a loved one. People bring water, people bring food, people bring refreshments. They come, they clean, they do a lot of things for you to get you through that very difficult time. However, what most of our family and friends cannot do is they do not have enough money to replace all of your income. What do you mean by that, Kevin? They don't have the ability to write your family, your loved ones, whoever you care for, a check every month for the same money you would have brought home. So life insurance, the single most important thing it does is it replaces your income when you plan in advance. I know I've talked about a lot of things. I touched upon car insurance. I touched on property insurance. I touched on business insurance. I touched on life insurance. And one of the questions you may have is, Kevin, that was all interesting, but the one question that I have is this. Excellent. I'm glad you have that question. So one of the things that I want to do with my weekly podcast is answer the questions that you have. So at the end of this video, you're going to see all of my contact information. Please hit me with the question that you have. If your question is chosen as our question of the day, question of the week, you'll see it featured on the next podcast from me to you, and you'll get a gift just for suggesting that question. Again, this is Kevin Spann, the insurance guru, coming straight from me to you.